Dude, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's okay, right? It's not too cold. Oh yeah, you clean. It was cleaner.
I was sweating a little.
Yeah. So it was at least refreshing.
It was. Thank you, Chris.
Beautiful.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Land, Water, and RV Show. What's up? It's Chris Young, the big dog, Ian Baker. And, during the Ultimate Land, Water, and RV Show, Ian, we've had a chance to show people things to do in boondocking, how to travel with pets, how to travel with kids, maintenance. And we also got a chance to show them with that brand new Napalo boat, how it was made. But we had another special trip that same week, too.
Yes, sir, we did. Yes, we got to go down, not only see how the Napalo boat was made, but also see how some RVs were made. And again, Chris, this is kind of where I nerd out. I love seeing it, from the ground up, especially people that don't get the opportunity to travel there. I think this is a really cool segment just to be able to see how the RV they're looking at is built. Yeah,
how it's built. And, more importantly than that, if this is your first time kind of experiencing the RV lifestyle, really getting into, which one do I need to get? Which one's right for me? This one may very well help you out. So Big Dog and I are going to go check out the Napalo boat while you check out the RV manufacturing tour right now.
Ryan, hey buddy, thanks for joining me. So here we are. We have a Class C chassis. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and then kind of walk us through and tell us what we got going on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ian, and great introduction. So as Ian mentioned, we're here at the start of the Jayco Class C line. E450 is what we're standing right in front of. And as any home, as any custom home, a motorhome is really, it starts with the foundation, right? So that's what we would call the foundation, is it starts with the chassis. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that, before that chassis even hits that production line, there's a lot of work, time, attention, care that has to go into building these chassis.
Okay.
And we call that the chassis upfit, okay? So as you look at these chassis, that's where all of these cross members are welded on. That's where all of the parts and pieces get bolted on for us to create that foundation. One thing that we always like to talk about is the J-Ride ride and handling packages.
Yes, please.
Because this is a motorhome, right?
Yes.
So just like any other vehicle, you're gonna be hopping in this thing and you're gonna be driving cross country. So just like any vehicle, the overall ride and drive is very, very important, right?
Yes.
It's not just how does it look on the inside, it's
That's
how does
right.
it drive, how does it handle, and how do we get down the road. Our J-Ride packages, again, starting on the Red Hawk, it starts with what we call a computer balanced drive shaft, okay? So now, again, as we upfit this chassis, we're actually taking it and we're stretching it apart, okay? So as we stretch it apart, that means that we have to make the drive line a little bit bigger, okay?
So when you say stretching it apart, for people that may be new to motorhomes, what does that mean, right? Because you're not going to take it and physically stretch the steel, right? It's a matter of cutting it, right?
It's a matter of cutting it, so
longer.
you're going to find that these wheels are about right here. We actually we're going to have to cut it, and then we stretch it out, and then piecing it back together. As we're piecing that together, the first component of that J-Ride is that we're computer balancing that drive shaft. That means that everything is working together to be perfectly balanced. That reduces a lot of the shudder and a lot of the vibrations that you traditionally feel. So the more stable that we can make your experience, the more comfortable you as the customer is going to be.
Perfect. All right, so looks like we're doing a chassis. Where are we moving to next?
Next, why don't we move to the floors?
Okay, let's do it.
At Jayco, we use a vacuum bonded floor, so we'll talk a little bit more about vacuum bonding and what that means when we get down into the sidewalls and even into the roof.
Perfect.
But it's important to note that we do use a vacuum bonded floor. You'll notice that there are no seams in this floor, right?
Yeah.
So this is one solid sheet right here that's all laminated together.
Okay.
You've got your four-sided aluminum frame in there. You've got your polystyrene insulation, and then again on top is a seamless piece that is all laminated together. You're also going to find that it's all one level, okay? So you walk in a lot of motorhomes, you're gonna find that there's a step up going into the bedroom, there's a step up going into the bathroom.
Yes.
Anytime there's a step up, you obviously have to marry those two parts together, and again, that creates another seam. So very important when we talk about seamless and flush. Why don't we go talk about the sidewalls?
Sounds good.
Okay. You can see here this motorhome has a sidewall installed. So once all the cabinets are in, some of the bigger appliances will start to then tack on the walls. Now, why I wanted to speak a little bit about the walls, we use a vacuum bonded wall. Okay, so vacuum bond's a little bit different in the sense that you take all your components that are needed to build the wall, so that inner wall board, the four-sided aluminum frame, the insulation, your fiberglass, all that stuff, you adhere it together, and then it goes into a big vacuum, okay? And basically that vacuum, it sucks it down at 144 tons of pressure for 16 to 18 minutes. So it gives you a true seal. We don't have to worry about the bad word in the industry called delamination. Very little do we deal with that because of the way that we're putting it together. And again, making sure that we know, okay, at Jayco, specifically on the motorhomes, we're gonna vacuum bond our floor, our walls, and then our roof.
Excellent. Looks beautiful, nice and sturdy.
Thank you.
Just the way I like it.
Yeah, let's go talk about the front cap.
Perfect.
So Ian, again, one of my favorite parts about our motorhomes as well, you're gonna find that we use a seamless one-piece fiberglass front cap on everything that we build. So that's Red Hawk, Grey Hawk Prestige. This happens to be a Melbourne Prestige actually, but we use it on Melbourne and Melbourne Prestige. And if you can see the description of one-piece seamless fiberglass front cap is exactly what it is. Okay, you find that this whole cap is a molded fiberglass piece. So how is that different from what our competitors are doing? It's different in the fact that it is all one piece. It's literally in the name of the description. You're gonna find that it's very common in our competitors that there's a seam that runs all the way up here. That silly seam a lot of times runs all the way around the bottom, and even in some cases that seam wraps all the way up there and connects to the roof, right? If you're driving down the road, this is a Class C, this is the first thing that's hitting the elements, right? So rain and ice and snow and is all, again, going to protrude into that front cap. We recognize again the importance of that. Want to be sure that we're doing all that we can. Of course, nobody's perfect, but want to do all that we can to help that end consumer. So that one-piece fiberglass front cap is a very big deal to us and something that we think is very important.
That is a good solution.
Yes, absolutely. Now down at the end of the line, and I think one of the most important things that we point out from Jayco's perspective are unique is our warranty. So you see that sticker there, it says 2+3 warranty. We pride ourselves on having the industry's longest warranty. So that's 2 years, where everybody else is typically only gonna be 1 year, and then an extra year, so that's where that +3 comes in on the structural components of the motorhome. So if anything were to structurally go wrong, we've got you covered there for another year. It's special because it's twice as long as the competition. It's 2 full camping seasons, which again is very important.
For me, that just speaks volumes about what you're building.
Absolutely. Again, it's one of those things that we pride ourselves on, and I feel extremely fortunate to be able to represent a product that's got that level of warranty.
Love it.
Now behind the coach here, I want to take just a minute and talk about safety because I think it's a very important part. Obviously, you're driving a vehicle, right? So it's no different when we talked at the beginning that, you know, the overall drive and ride is important, the overall comfort. So is the safety aspect of it. So on the inside, obviously we're not on the inside, but on the inside you're going to find that at Jayco we put seatbelts in every seating location. That's with the exception of one of our splinter floor plans just due to the mechanism, Murphy bed mechanism. So why do we do that? We do that because it's the right thing to do, right?
Agreed. Yes.
Not necessarily required to put seatbelts in every seating location. But again, we do it because it's the right thing to do. So we want to focus on safety. So that's one aspect of it. Second aspect is towing. So clearly all of our motorhomes have a hitch. Now, where I bring it up in safety, we make sure that all of our hitches, that the tongue rating is equal to 10% of what you can actually tow. So if we promote it, you can safely tow it.
Love it.
And then finally, a small item, but you'll find that we do put a third brake light on every motorhome that we build. Something that isn't necessarily required, something that's relatively inexpensive to put on, but something that we feel is important, especially if you're towing a vehicle, because we want to make sure that you and your family are protected.
Awesome.
So again, Ian, that was a tour through the Jayco motorhome facility. Again, our Class C's under Red Hawk, Grey Hawk Prestige, Melbourne, and Melbourne Prestige. Very excited to be able to take you through today. We'd love to have you again.
Thank you very much. I mean, you guys obviously build a quality product, and I'm glad that that we were able to get in today. You know, just so I get to take a look, and anyone that's watching and viewing gets to again kind of take a little peek under the hood, behind the curtain, and see how these beauties are made. So Ryan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, we're in Goshen, Indiana. I'm here with Joe Bertels of Cougar. He is the assistant product manager for the Cougar line. We're gonna do a plant tour, go through some things, be able to kind of let you see what's under the hood, right? See some of the things you don't normally get to see here in the plant. It is after production. We have some shots. We'll be able to show you of everything. But Joe, go ahead and take it away, my friend.
Well, welcome to Keystone. This is plant 2. We operate out of 3 plants here at Cougar, 1 in Oregon, plant 31, which is over the way, and this is our plant 2, which we're gonna do fifth wheels. And this is kind of where I always start my plant tours. You start with the frame, right? So here we have all of our frames just over the hill and in the lot. These are ready to go. The building in the far direction, that's our lamination facility. That's where every laminated wall at Keystone is built.
All right, so here's where it all starts, right? Bringing the chassis in?
Correct. Chassis is going to come in through these overhead doors, and you can see all the infrastructure in here. We've got the cranes. They'll hook that fifth wheel up to this, flip the entire frame upside down, start putting axles on, tires on, jacks on. Then they'll flip it right side up, and it'll move on down the line to the next phase of production. So one of the highlights that we talk about is our climate guard with Cougar.
Yes. This
is a great spot to see this. So this Astro insulation is in the underbelly of all of your Cougar fifth wheels and travel trailers.
It looks like glorified tinfoil, right?
That's what it does. Yeah,
but it makes a big difference.
It makes a significant difference, and the big point about this is it kind of looks like aluminum foil and bubble wrap kind of converged into one. So what this does is these hemmed in air pockets, this provides a neutral air barrier. So let's say in the outside and it's cold weather is blowing underneath here, you've got warm weather up here. This neutral air barrier will keep cold air and warm air from coming in contact, because when you come in contact, you get condensation and moisture. So that prevents not only keeping the warm air reflected up back into your coach, but also keeps that moisture barrier, that condensation out of your coach. So we do this in all of our underbellies and all of our slide room floors. Great shot of our seamless Dynaspan floor decking. The first thing you want to know when you're buying a new home and you have that home inspection done is, how's your foundation? Well, this is our foundation, okay? We do a 3-inch aluminum frame, and then we do this Dynaspan decking on top. So you can see there are no seams in here. We buy this in 8-foot by 24-foot sheets. The benefit to that is a good solid structure. The advantage it has over brands that use plywood or 4x8 tongue and groove is expansion and contraction with the winter. I don't have any seams in my floor that as it gets colder, that expansion and contraction is going to be going. As you're traveling, those floors aren't going to be moving. You've got one single floor decking. And then in our floor, you can see all of our insulation here. So we use a variety of insulation. Here's your full 3-inch aluminum frame, and we're filled full with residential batten insulation. So the same insulation, the same build properties you're going to see in your homes is what you're going to find in your Cougars as well. And then here we run our seamless linoleum across the top. So we'll drape it all the way across the top, glue it down, fasten it. We don't put lino around cabinets or anything like that where that could curl back. So it'll get one complete floor, as you can see right here, and then everything goes down on top of it.
Now, Joe, why don't you run us through just a little bit on the lamination process? Because not everyone knows this, but not all lamination is equal, right? We have different kinds. We have a few different methods. Yep. You guys pinch roll. You have a massive facility, one of the biggest lamination facilities I've seen. Just kind of walk us through the process on how that's done.
All of our interior Luan and wall boards will come into that facility. It's about 7.5 football fields under roof, 300,000 square feet. All of our material will come in and go to a holding area for 2 reasons. One, it protects your raw materials from sitting outside and being exposed to the elements.
Yep.
The second reason for that is it will sit in there for about 18 to 24 hours so that Luan, that raw material, will equalize to the exact same temp as the plants. That's important because when you go to put Luan with glue, with them being matching temperatures, that glue will respond, will adhere, and you've got the perfect environment, and you don't have things like delamination and stuff like that from shocking the glue on a cold surface.
Well, so that's anyone that's ever done woodwork, you know that if you don't, kind of let your wood get to temp and you start working on it, all of a sudden it starts warping and twisting and everything else. Right. So, makes a lot of sense.
The other thing I always point out too is you'll notice they cut out the glass. This is gonna be a slide at some point, okay? This will get finished and taken out here in this plant too, in our Cougar plant. They'll take this piece, the other piece down to where we build slide boxes. And so your same piece of glass for your slides are gonna end up in the coach. We don't mix match, we don't run separate batches of glass, so that matches up.
All right, front caps, beautiful thing on a Cougar.
Absolutely. I think we have the best looking caps in the industry. There's a lot of things you can talk about in a Cougar cap that other brands don't have. Every single Cougar cap that has color in it is all painted. So 3 layers of automotive paint and then 2 layers of clear coat. Then they get transported here where they get assembled onto our coaches, okay? So as you can see here, this is a great shot of, again, the insulation. We talked about this reflective foil. Here's your residential batten insulation. This is gonna drop down on top, cap goes over it. So that does 2 things. Obviously, when you're camping, you're gonna back into your spot. The combination of all this here does always protects against wind and weather, but this is also gonna keep sound down. And with the backed in, you know, if you're going to bed at night and it's a fun campground and there's golf carts running up and down, bikes, kids screaming, this is gonna give you a quiet sleeping space as well as a comfortable one from all the elements.
So Joe, let's talk about the seals on the slide real quick, right? Is a lot of new customers getting into RVing, one of the things that they worry about is leaks, right?
Correct.
And it's a big hole in your sidewall, so you want to make sure it's sealed up well. So talk to me, kind of run me through what Cougar does to make sure keeping water out.
Absolutely. Well, we use a couple of different slide systems, but on our seals here, you're always gonna have this double slide seal protection, as well as this under seal here, so your floor eventually we're gonna sit. So this is gonna squeegee and keep water out. This seal is gonna protect against traveling. Because believe it or not, the majority of water that gets into a coach and a slide box is from your tires going down the road. And so that's why we have this weather stripping here. We seal this up here as it goes in and out. And then we've got the double slide seals here, plus this bulb seal on the outside. So Keystone's True Fit slide boxes is really outstanding as far as closing that coach up and making sure that those elements don't get inside.
Perfect.
So the cable slide systems is a mechanism that's super light that allows us to move slides in and out. The other advantage is on what's called a rack and pinion slide, which is right over here, that's gonna have that steel bar that goes in there, okay? If you have all rack and pinion slides, you add a lot of weight. But as those bars go into the underbelly, they have to go somewhere.
Yep.
These stay here. So in my half-ton series, because I don't have those crossing rack and pinion bars, I can give you 60-gallon freshwater tanks versus smaller 43-gallon tank. I can give you bigger grays and blacks because I've got the physical space in my underbelly. This is also, I always like to tell when I'm working with my dealership, this is oldie but goodie technology. It just flat out works. Lighter weight, greater security, bigger holding tanks. That's the advantages of our cable slide system.
And we're standing inside a finished Cougar. Beautiful product, excellent process. You can see the quality along the whole way. Joe, I want to thank you for taking the time, taking us through. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself. If I don't know, this man right here does.
Guys, thanks for coming by. Happy camping. Enjoy your Cougar.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate it.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Young inside the beautiful Forest River facilities here with my buddy Ben Hanlon. And Ben, we are in the Alpha Wolf facility right now.
Yep.
Which I wanted to thank you, by the way, for joining us. I want you to talk about the Alpha Wolves.
Sure.
So let's start right here at the beginning with the frame. And the first thing that I noticed about this was the frame looks a little bit bigger than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
With most manufacturers.
Yeah, so when we built Alpha Wolf, we actually started it in our luxury fifth wheel Arctic Wolf plant,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna see a theme throughout this that a lot of this is going to be overbuilt or overstructured compared to what a lot of my competitors are gonna be. So we felt like, okay, we've got this, well-built coach. We wanna make sure that we're not taking and cutting corners because sometimes people look at a brochure and they say, oh, well, this one's 400 pounds less than this one, this one's
Right,
500 pounds
right.
goes, well, maybe I want to buy that one. And so manufacturers a lot of times will say, what can we get away with? We went the opposite direction. We wanted to say, what is going to be best? If I was buying this, what type of structure would I want to have? So we have either a 10, an 8, or a 6-inch I-beam frame, usually 2 to 4 inches bigger than my competitors at the same size and same amount of slides, to make sure that when you're going down the road and you're taking an average of a 3.5 on the Richter scale every time you're going, that you're not taking as much abuse on the rest of your coach, right? So that's one of the main things we wanted to point out. You might notice this has a little higher clearance.
It does,
you know, than a lot of people. So when you have the axles actually sitting up this high with the frame sitting up this high, what you get is, let's say that your campsite's not quite even, or let's say where you're backing it in your driveway, you've got a hill or something like that. A lot of times people are banging their tanks or their drains, or sometimes even the bottom of their frame,
and they're not on ramps.
Right. So how am I supposed to get that clearance? We want to make sure that it's as usable as possible, so you've got as much clearance as possible, to make sure that as you're turning, as you're driving, as you're going down the road, you're not going to be banging and hitting into things, right?
What do you say we go over to the next spot to talk about what happens after you get all this off?
Sounds great.
All right, Ben, next step, tell me what's going on right here. I see we got a floor and some cover.
Yep, so this is our flooring station, right? So after you get your frame, you're gonna have your wiring, your plumbing, your heating all set up, then you're gonna have your flooring set on, right? Now, one thing that sets our flooring apart is you're going to have 5/8 inch tongue and groove plywood with 12-inch on-center floor joists, okay? So you're gonna have a strong floor. So strong structure needs a strong floor, right? A lot of times people are walking, they come to a show, they come to a lot, and they're saying, man, I'm walking on this thing and it feels like it's moving all inside this, right? Sometimes people are using a lighter weight laminate floor to try and save some weight. This is going to be a heavier duty structure that's going to make sure that you're going to be supported the whole way through, so you can have confidence in your floor. Additionally, when we build such a strong structure, we want to make sure we're protecting it, right? So you're going to see a weatherproof wrap that's come up and then over that, we're going to have the lino. Now, once we get down further, you'll see the sidewalls that actually will fit onto here and have an L bracketing, right? So you're going to cover this all the way up. Now, we do several things to try and make sure we're not going to have leaks. But let's just say somehow water were able to do and get in here. You would have such a maze for it to actually get to something to where it would do some damage. It's very unlikely, right?
So say you've really cut off the access for water to get underneath.
Right.
I like that. And you can see right here what Ben was talking about with that thick, how strong and durable that floor is. Look how thick and sturdy that is. Okay, so we got the frame, we got the flooring done, we got it covered up. Now let's talk a little bit about what's gonna go on it.
Yep, we can go down there.
Okay, Ben, so here I am taking a look at some of the stuff we're going to put on the frame that was just finished off. And right away, I am a fan of these beautiful accessories that you have, especially the undermounted sinks and these countertops. Tell me about those.
So we went with a matte black finish on most of our appliances and accents. And you're going to have that complemented with our seamless countertops, which really, complement the interior decor really well. Now, you're going to see that in all of our coaches, you're going to see the same kitchen sets, as far as sinks and things like that, because we want to have the same consistency throughout. So our cabinet shop is going to be able to build them with the same consistency, and then here at the set station, you're actually going to have them put on. And again, that's where that secure floor comes in, that secure frame, right? To make sure that we're not having these flex and move as you're going down the road.
Now, tell me about some of the other nice parts of when this is being done. What we talked about, how it's mounted, how it's screwed in and bolted. What really makes all this stuff come together?
Well, I would say the labor piece, right? Like we don't have a lot of turnover, and where we're built, we're actually 90% Amish built, right? So we're getting a great labor force without a lot of turnover, and you're getting them putting on the product in the same places at the same time. So, when you have a hand-built product, right, the more consistently you have people doing the same job every day, the better and better they're going to get at that. And we believe that. That's why you don't see too many different bathroom sets. That's why you don't see too many different kitchen sets. We may rearrange them, but a lot of times we're going to have the same slide box but moved here. We're going to have the same bathroom but kind of shifted here, so that they're doing the same thing every time. We can get that better consistency of build.
I like that. We've got the frame, we got stuff put on it. Now, let's see how you actually close it up.
Sounds great. All
right, Ben, I'm loving this fiberglass siding, but I'm looking at the frame and Dude, is that 2 inches? 2 inches?
Yep. So again, when we started these in our fifth wheel plant, our fifth wheels are 2 inches thick wall.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So we did the same thing here on the Alpha wheels, right? So you're going to have 2-inch thick aluminum framed laminated walls on everything vertical.
I'm
right?
used to seeing 1.5 inches, so this is nice.
A lot of times brands are going to have that inch or 1.5 inch thick wall. So you're getting high density block foam. You're having aluminum framing. Not only are we going to have aluminum framing throughout the walls for structural rigidity, but also every opening. So all of your doors, all of your windows, all of your slides are going to be framed in with tube aluminum. The reason we do that is when these are laminated, it's all one piece, right? And then the router's job is to measure where that goes and to route that out. If there happens to be a miscut or it slips a little bit, the trim will visually cover the mistake, but you won't be able to seal as well, right? Because you're not having that fit in the same spot. So having the framing in there the whole time, you can literally get in the middle and you're going to hit metal every time. So it's going to be the same slide size,
you got a good guide.
Same box size, right? So you're going to get the best seal possible.
You see how when the sidewall comes over, it actually comes over this weather-wrapped edge, and I like that. That's an extra layer of protection against moisture.
Right, for sure.
So I like that. You mentioned those slides, and we're going to get to those in a minute, but first, we need to talk about this roof.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are on top of one of the Alpha Wolves, and Ben, I got to tell you, I love the ductwork right away. It's the first thing that pops out to me.
Yeah, so when we're making these coaches, right, again, we talked about extended season, but one of those seasons is summer.
Yeah,
and it can get hot, right? So
yeah.
Not only does every Alpha Wolf come with a 15,000 BTU air conditioner, included standard, okay? Some of them you can get a second air conditioner if you want to purchase that, depending on what you've got. But we're going to duct them, right? We're not going to have the flex vent hosing or things like that. We're going to have real duct work, and we're going to run it through. Some campers want to trade in every 3 to 6 years. That's great. You know, you want to keep up with things, or maybe your lifestyle changes or needs change, right? And there's a need for that. But there's a lot of people who are saying, I'm making an investment for the next 10 years. I want to feel confident in what I'm doing. So we want to give you the base structure that if you're going to support that we can support you.
I love it. All right, so good roof. We got good frames covered up.
Yep.
We got good side walls. We got good stuff on the inside. Good roof. Now I guess we just got to cap the front and the back.
Yep.
So let's go see what that looks like.
Sounds great.
Marco.
Polo.
Marco.
Over here.
Oh, hey, man. Hey, sorry. You know, we were walking to come see these end caps, but I noticed the slides right here, man. These are all set out and separate.
Right.
And I don't see a bunch of different components like I'm used to. Tell me about that.
Right, so slide department, right? This is where we're going to make sure that we're building these the same way we're building the rest of the coach. So a lot of brands, again, that same theme, they're trying to find ways that you walk into a camper and you're not going to see where they skimped and saved, right? So this is going to be the same 2-inch thick aluminum framed walls, laminated, outside walls and end walls, right? Rear walls, everything vertical, again, is going to have that same manufacturing process, right?
Supported as well?
Supported as well through the windows, all throughout. You're going to have the same floor thickness right here. So again, the same structure that we talked about earlier in the shelling area is going to hold true to here, right?
This is nice because usually, you know, at least on some sides of the slides, they're hollow.
Right.
So having that's a very nice little feature, not only for insulation, but also for support. Speaking of looking good, your front caps, man.
Thank you.
Those are nice looking.
Well, again, you know, a lot of people aren't going to, you know, when you're buying a new camper, right? When you're investing your money, it's got to hold up. It's got to look good. You spent this much money. You want to pull into camper and have people coming over going, hey, what's that? Hey, where'd you get that? Right? So we wanted to make sure that we didn't skimp on our graphics package. You see a lot of coverage. You see a nice molded fiberglass front cap.
Yes. Does that have the coating on it too?
Yep. So you're going to basically say it's going to stay nice looking for longer, less chance of, you know, rocks or things making it, you know, dinged up. Really sharp coach. I really like it.
All right, Ben, so here we are at the end of the line, and looks like we got one that's completely done.
Yeah.
So walk in, tell me what we got.
So this is after the stations we were at, when you go through shelling, when you go through slides, the last 5 stations, they're going through seal checks, they're going through quality checks.
Sure.
We even have a fake door with air where we're doing bubble testing to make sure there's no leaks around the windows, around
that's cool.
the slides, things like that, right? And then at the end of the line, they're going to double check all that and make sure that the work is up to where we want it to be, and they create a beautiful product. They really work hard. The design team, the engineering team, everybody in the line really working and rowing the boat the same direction makes such a huge difference when you can get a high quality product that you can believe in, that you can feel confident camping in, but you can also say, I love when people walk into my camper and getting that wow factor, getting that response that you always want to have, right?
Well, I mean, from a sustainable manufacturing process, which another tip of the hat for you guys for doing, really doing a good job of shrinking that carbon footprint, to all the features and amenities that you're able to pack in this thing, including zebra shades, right, which I'm a fan of, to the paw mount, which is another great feature. You don't have to buy so many TVs,
right?
To just the design. It's a well-built, good-looking coach, man.
Well, I appreciate that. We put our hearts into these, and we hope you can feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. So to find out more information about this Alpha Wolf, which I think is the 27RK,
right,
that we're now, or any of them, be sure to check out Camping Worlds or Gander RV and Outdoors to get the info. Ben Hanlon, Alpha Wolf, thank you, my friend.
Appreciate it, my friend.
As always.
Hey everyone, I'm Ian Baker, and I am joined today by Tucker Schultz with Coleman. We are at the Coleman Lantern plant in Middlebury, Indiana, and Tucker, Coleman has a great name, right? They have an excellent reputation throughout the entire camping and RVing industry. Today we get the opportunity to walk through the plant and be able to see where some of that quality and that reputation comes from right from the ground up. Why don't you go ahead and just kind of walk us through the process of how a Coleman Lantern's built?
Yep, thank you, Ian. So here today, we are at the Middlebury plant here with Coleman. Through this plant, it's strictly just Coleman, on that emphasis here as well. As you can see, we got a lot of Coleman units here in the background, a lot of building materials as well. So we got the nice frame here. You can see some of our holding tanks as well. On your 17B model, you're going to have 3 holding tanks, one fresh, 1 black, 1 gray. Holding tank sizes roughly range from that 28 gallon on that 17B. Definitely see some of that floor structure here as well. Nice thing here too, on your Coleman 17B, you're actually going to see the nice galvanized steel well as well. Yeah. The nice thing with those steel is definitely help protect that camper. A lot of debris on that road as well.
Sure, and in the rare event there is a blowout, helps protect the camper a little bit too.
If we walk further down the line here, you can definitely really see a little bit more of those individual components for the 17B. Got your single bunks here on the 17B. Got the nice little rear bathroom here in the back. Just more and more further down the line, you see a little bit more going inside. Strong structural support underneath that bathtub. I mean, there's a lot of campers out there too. When that customer actually gets inside that tub, there's going to be a little bit more wobble. But the nice thing too, on a Coleman standpoint, you can see that we put a lot of that structural support underneath that rack of that tub. So over here, guys, you can definitely see some of these sidewalls and your rear wall of your camper. For your Coleman 17B single axle model as well, you want to see that we're using a 2x2 framing structural support on your sidewalls, along with the back of the coach as well. We're going to hand tuck, hand glue our insulation here. Then further down the line, you'll see your exterior, your aluminum siding. Yeah, we're further down the line here at Coleman. As you can see, it's looking more and more like an actual Coleman travel trailer. Got the nice exterior aluminum siding, the nice great Coleman logos here, more of that roofing material as well. Looks more like that Coleman trailer.
And I'll say, Tucker, I do like what you guys have done with the color scheme, right? Instead of just being plain white, you have a couple of gray, a little bit of gray in there. You have the black along the bottom, helping to hide a little bit of dirt and stuff that gets kicked up. Not only is it functional, but it looks great as well.
Definitely. Nice little thing too on our Coleman exterior is definitely with our windows. We're using a double layer of butyl tape around our windows to eliminate that water penetration point compared to that silicone or that foam that can deteriorate a little bit quicker on that end.
Nice. Hey everybody, I'm Ian Baker and I'm joined by my good friend Mike with Jayco. Mike, today we get to go through the luxury line of fifth wheels at Jayco.
Absolutely.
So what do we got here? We're looking at North Point, we're looking at Pinnacle,
Correct.
Seismic.
Yep.
And all built right here on this line.
Absolutely. This is our luxury plant, so those are our luxury lines here at Jayco. We started our J-Flight, we go all the way up to this. So this plant is designated just for our luxury product. And like Ian was saying, it's North Points, it's Pinnacles, it's Seismic. The cool thing about Jayco, keep this in mind, if you know one, you kind of know them all. You don't get better as you get more expensive. And that's kind of one of the things that separates us from the other manufacturers because, typically as you go up in price, the bells, the whistles, the floor plans, they increase. Well, you know, you get the 2-year warranty regardless if you're a $10,000 trailer or $100,000. That's a Jayco thing, right?
Yep.
You know, we don't skimp on the things. We still stay with the real plywood. We don't go lean towards the OSB world. I'm not saying anything wrong with OSB, but you know, plywood is a premium. That's another thing, you know. We really don't stress the 12-month warranty like the industry. We're 2 full camping cycles. So if we're gonna back this thing for 2 full years, okay, you better have some premium quality products.
Absolutely, better be built right.
Absolutely. Now here's the other thing. If you've ever noticed or wondered why other manufacturers have a 1-year warranty, it's simple. The components offer a 1-year warranty. Now what we found is manufacturers, you know, we build about 50,000 plus RV towable Jaycos a year.
Sure.
If they want to do business with us, guess what? They have to double their warranty for our customer. So it's amazing. They all kind of want that business.
Weird how that works.
So they double it up.
All right.
Does that make sense, though?
Yeah, no, it makes
if you've
perfect
ever
sense.
wondered, or a customer's ever wondered why somebody has a 1-year warranty, that's why. Every component is a 1 year. But if you want to be on a Jayco, you better double it if you want to be on this line. A couple other quick little notes. It's kind of tough to see here because this is going to be the generator compartment over here. It's going to be your battery compartment. Well, solar. Solar has become so prevalent in today's marketplace. Would you agree?
Yes, it has.
I always find it ironic, though, is think about solar as a gas tank, okay? So I've got the solar panel, okay? And then I have a battery source, right? So the solar, the sun and the solar panel, that's gonna be your fuel, right? That's gonna be your fuel source.
Absolutely.
Where are you storing it, though? Gotta have it in a fuel cell, which is your battery. How come most people give you room for 1 or 2 batteries? You ever notice that?
I do.
Every one of ours, every single one of ours, 4 to 6 batteries. That is how much room we prepare for you. So not only if you chose never to do it, you could. If you just want regular shore power batteries, 4 to 6. 1's good, 4's great.
Yeah, no, that's...
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, that's cool.
So it's those little things we do. Remember I said you don't get better, you get more expensive with ours. Every North Point, every Pinnacle, every Seismic, room for 4 to 6 batteries. So these are some things that we could talk about real quick on the chassis. If you want, we'll go down here and there's a couple cool little things we're gonna transition into, kind of like the frame flip. And the frame flip is notorious in the RV industry because most people don't know we actually take it from this and that's where we put the tanks in and things upside down. So we'll walk down, we'll transition to that, and I'll show you a couple other things over there.
Sounds good, Mike. Let's do it. Mike, it's upside down, buddy.
It is upside down, isn't it? This is one of my favorite things in the whole plan, actually, because, you know, when you see something going down the road, it's that way, right? But most people don't think about how does it get, you know, how does it get in this condition? Or in other words, how do we get the tanks? How do we get the slide mechanisms? All these little parts and pieces that you can't see that are underneath it. Well, we flip it around. So you've probably heard of this as thermal foil or astrofoil. This is not hot dog foil. Okay? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like hot dogs like the Knicks guy. You can see that, okay? But I will tell you, hot dog foil is traditionally what you will find in the RV industry. Works fantastic at the Cubs game. Okay?
Sure.
But for an RV, you see how thick this is?
You got the pockets in there.
Look at that. I mean, this is different. This is residential grade. This doesn't do Dodger dogs.
Yeah, sure.
Okay? So this is our first line of defense against heat-cold transfer.
Okay.
But if you come around here, I hate showing people this unless they're at the dealership. I don't like the other manufacturers seeing some of our secret sauce.
I get that.
But I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Because they could do it, they just choose not to because it costs money.
Oh, but that makes sense.
I don't care what mine costs, I care how it's built. Right?
I love that.
So if this was flipped upside down, right? Normally I'd be looking at your pass-through storage up here. This would be your bathroom floor. But when it's flipped, there's your bathroom floor. Fully insulated. Guess what? I don't see any raw OSB decking. I don't see any plywood, and I certainly don't see any Polymax or Darko material. That's just faking my way through, showing, I don't even insulate underneath there. Well, we do. That's our first line of defense, right? Then we will give you formaldehyde-free spun glass insulation. So when we walk into all of our coaches, part of our sales training, and even when we're at shows, folks, please walk into our coach and do the sniff test.
Yeah, take a big O inhale,
what don't
especially if it's warm out.
What don't you smell? Right? Those are those little things, that secret sauce once again. And the third one is gonna be 2-inch block foam. Now, we vacuum bond and laminate. Now, there's gonna be people that say, what is that? Well, think of fiberglass exterior, think of your foam. Lamination is no more than time and pressure. Would you agree?
Yes,
I mean, that's
100%.
all that is. Pinch rolling is the most prevalent way to do it in the industry.
It's fast.
It's a very quick process. In fact, so fast, as fast as you can run it through the machine, that's the pressure time.
Yep.
Okay, so it might be 1 second, 2 seconds. With ours, it's about 16 to 18 minutes.
Yeah.
We will use several tons of pressure,
Okay.
not pounds, tons of pressure for 16 to 18 minutes.
Wow.
Okay, that's vacuum bonding. Now, the reason you don't see a lot of people doing it is because the upfront expense
Yep.
and the time.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We have our own lamination department too. We don't do it in this facility. We do it over there.
Yeah.
And you can imagine when we're doing floors and sidewalls and things like that. A couple little things. In fact, you can see the formaldehyde-free spun glass, okay?
There it is.
This is our main floor. You can see the bridge work right here, okay? You can see the tabs. If you zoom in over there, you see where that hydraulic line is, but see that little tab that's up above it? Right here's another good shot of it. That is for your underbelly. Have you ever noticed an underbelly, so a fully heated and closed underbelly, will actually take screws or nails and they will shoot it right into the chassis?
Yep.
Okay. Well, those are designed, so, and that, remember that part of every one of ours is designed specifically for us. It's not out of a catalog like everybody says they have a custom chassis.
Yeah.
Well, if it's so custom, why don't you do that? Because that's where we tuck our Lamiplast material right in there. Therefore, it sits, we don't have any sagging, we don't have any gapping, and we don't have to shoot into our chassis and weaken it. It just shows you we're spending the money up front,
Okay.
right? So people don't have to. Take your time, do some research, and you'll see if it was something was better out there, you'd already put it on. I mean, that's what we do at Jacob. Guys, we moved on. We got over from frame flip. We just kind of moved down the line a little bit. Now we're starting to put some sidewalls on. Obviously, you can see a few more interior components. Now, this is our 377, our RLBH rear living bunkhouse model.
Yep.
This has been our #1 selling fifth wheel for at least 6, maybe 7 years in a row. And we build more of these than any other fifth wheel at Jayco for all products, all lines. I mean, this right here is our #1 seller. So statistically speaking, if this is on a lot, it doesn't last real long, okay?
Sure.
Here's a quick little thing that most people don't do, but fresh water, it's a 1.5 inch drain. So you know how long it would take to do a fresh water tank just to drain it?
Yep.
Well, now we put this on here, pull that. It's an extra quick dump in addition to your other drain pipe. So I can drain a fresh water. I mean, it's amazing. So
cool.
This is our modern farmhouse, and the modern farmhouse is one of our true interior designs. And what do we mean by true interior design? So most manufacturers will give you one interior design choice, right?
Yep.
Or they'll say, okay, I changed my interior. I gave you brown, or brownest, okay? So Modern Farmhouse started back in our Eagle a few years ago, and then we just took over the industry with it.
Yep.
You know, we offered all the way up into our motorhome product. Now you're seeing a lot of people jumping on board with a white wood, right?
Yep.
Well, what if I don't like white?
Yeah.
So our other choice of cashmere, right?
Okay.
I give a brown interior, if I will, but guess what? The flooring changes, the countertop changes, the leather changes, everything about it. It's just not flop out the window treatments and the leather.
Yep.
It's the whole thing. So we give you true interior design. And by the way, we always find it ironic when people say, you need a woman to design these. And I go, man, it's a good thing we do.
And here we are on the beautiful finished product. Absolutely gorgeous.
It's a 2021 North Point. This is our modern farmhouse decor. Remember I talked about the true interior design, so we'd have one full choice. If you didn't care for the white, if you cared for something a little more traditional, we'd be our cashmere cottage. This happens to be our modern farmhouse, which statistically is about 80% of our sales.
Yeah.
So, you know, pretty good one to end on right here. But yeah, so this is a 2021, super excited. I mean, this is the best the RV industry's ever been. We can't thank, you know, dealers such as yourself, the customers out there that are really joining the ranks right now. I mean, they're coming out of the woodworks, and we love it because, you know, we've said, and I've done this for 24 years, the RV industry, it's the best kept secret in the world.
Yeah, we agree.
And it is.
Yep.
I mean, you know, so many people are selling something. They're always selling something, right? Hey, sell something. No, we're selling fun. You don't know whose coach this is going to be. So if it was your mom's, if it was your dad's, if it was your brother, sister, uncle, whoever, you don't know who it's going through.
Yep.
take the time to make it right.
And Mike, just from what we've seen today, I mean, you can see that culture is bred into everyone here. And, you know, some of the things you've gotten to show us, just some of those little things where you took extra care and you had the R&D. You know, I really appreciate you walking us through that. And again, just being able to show everyone watching what they normally can't see and kind of speak to some of the quality that you put into these fifth wheels.
80% of what protects your investment in new RV you can't see.
There it is.
So that's where we shine. You know, anybody can say, hey, I got a cool leather or I got a cool cabinetry. Yeah, what are you doing where you can't see? That's where we shine. That's where we take pride. So thank you guys for coming, and
absolutely
appreciate you guys.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike.